everyone. Welcome to our next episode of ASID PA East Lunch and Live. And it's Cinco de Mayo Day. So we're going to wait a few minutes for everybody to start hopping on and people to join us. Today we have Maria Viola-Kutruff, who is a past president of the chapter and runs her own luxury interior design business. So we'll be hopping on with Maria in a minute. And we thought we'd get a little colorful for you today. So thank you everybody for who's coming on and watching. We see all of you there. And as soon as we see Maria pop on, we'll bring her in and have a chat with her today. So if you've got your margarita though, bring it with you right now. So, or your tequila, whatever you want today. So, but thank you everybody for joining. Again, I'm Kimberly Slater. I am the communications director for ASID PA East, the Pennsylvania East chapter of the American Society of Interior Designers. And we are based out of Eastern Pennsylvania, all the way from Reading to Lancaster. And I see Maria right now. Oh, and we cover Southern Jersey and Delaware as well. So Maria, it'll probably tell you to say, ask to join, and then I'll be able to bring you in. I think. Let's see, or I can do that. Oh, I think I can do that from my end. Here she goes. She should be joining us in a
Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome to you. Welcome into
Can you hear me? I can kind of hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. You can't
Okay.
hear me?
No, I can now.
Okay, great.
Welcome to you today. How are you? Welcome
Good,
to Cinco de Mayo.
What's
I got color. I said, welcome to Cinco de Mayo. I got colorful for you.
Yes. I know I should have gotten some sort of festive attire or decor around me, but I didn't. I see
That's
you
okay.
did though.
Yes, yeah. Well, you know me. When am I not in color?
Color's great.
Thank you. So welcome. So everybody, this is Maria Viola-Kutruff. She is a past president of the chapter, and she's joining us today for Lunch and Live. So this is our new little feature in the virtual world of the chapter. Give you guys a little benefit, learn about everybody. We're coming to you from our fancy new fandangled technology that we just got for the chapter. Why not invest in that for everybody? And so we're going to do a little just, Q&A chat with Maria and find out about her, what she's doing right now. And if anybody has questions, pop up on the screen. Maria, can you see them on your end?
I can.
Okay,
I see some
perfect.
people saying hello, like Andrea from
Yeah.
Bright Light and Jessica from Wolf Gordon. Hello.
Yes, we've got tons of people today. There's Jessica. I see her.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I
Awesome.
saw Rika on a few minutes ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
every week we're going to do this. If I end up going back out into the world and not working from home, we'll probably move this to Mondays because that's my office day. So, but I don't foresee that for a little while.
I know.
No. So Maria, why don't you tell everybody about your business, where you're from, what you do, and
Anything
your involvement with.
The name of my business is Viola Interior Design. Viola is my maiden name. A lot of people think that's my first name. It's not. It's Maria. We are a luxury residential interior design firm. We're based, our office is in Ardmore, which is becoming the coolest little town ever. I encourage everybody to get over there and try some of the restaurants. I've been in business on my own for about 15 years.
Wow.
Before that, after I graduated from Drexel with my design degree, I went to work for a couple of architecture firms and I was their interior designer. And then I broke out on my own. And so, I love what I do. I think it's a lot of hard work, and but I think I feel very fortunate that I have some really great clients. For ASID, I was I started getting involved right around, I've been a member, oh my gosh, since right after I got out of school.
Okay.
And then I started getting more and more involved right after the recession hit. And I thought, you know what? I feel like I need to get to know more people. I feel like I need to celebrate, you know, this professional career I have. So I started working with the communications committee, and that was a lot of fun. I met um, two people I can think of right off the bat were Tom Stone and Anna Moore.
Mhm.
And they both had such great energy, and I hit it off so well with them that it made such a difference for me. And it was just a lot of fun being involved, and it
Good.
wasn't a huge time commitment, so I felt like it was a realistic venture for me. So I did that, and then I just stayed involved and eventually became president-elect and then president. And it was a great experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world. As you know, Kimberly, I mean, you were an amazing president, and I tell
Yeah.
people that every chance I get. Um, but it was ASID. I guess the one thing I can't ever replace by being a chapter member is just the camaraderie, and just I feel like just the what I have in common with anybody, whether it's the industry partners or fellow members, everybody just has a real sense of professionalism that I like and I appreciate. I think that's really important. And I feel like it's a lot of like-minded people, great personalities. Anything I ever go to that involves ASID, it's not only, a learning experience, but it's always happens to be fun,
Yes.
which I think
We
is
try.
important. You
We
don't want to
try.
you don't want to be part of an organization that it's super dry or boring, or um and it's like Stella just said, it's totally
Right.
worth the membership. I mean,
It is. It
and
is.
Stella's another person that I'll never forget meeting, had an instant connection with, and was so warm and kind. And we met over the phone first because I think I was begging her to get involved when I was president. But
Sure.
so I mean,
So,
it's been a really positive experience for me, and wouldn't trade it for the world. So
now, you mentioned like the camaraderie, and you joined, you said, and it was kind of like about 15 years ago, and then like the recession. Do you think, now in the times that we're in right now, sticking with your membership is beneficial? Because the way I look at it, we've been talking about this, like the board, membership. You understand that people are not going to be able to maintain financially their memberships. At some point, sponsors
mhm.
might not be able to, industry partners, come the beginning of our fiscal year in October. We understand that it's the sign of the times right now.
Mhm.
But do you think maintaining with your membership, if you are able to, is going to be definitely beneficial because of those relationships?
I
When we
do.
come out of this on the other side,
I do, because first of all, I think it's really insightful that you just said that. And I think that, it, of course, people have to be aware of their financial abilities, and anything that they see as non-essential, to use a current
Right.
buzzword, is going to get cut. However, there is the other side of this that will be, there will be a day when we will feel like we are fully recovered from this. I'm glad that my membership will still be there. It sounds corny, but
Right.
I think it's a necessary thing for me. And it's a business to me. It's tied so directly to my business. It's not like I have some frivolous membership to something that is not needed. So for me, that's how I see my professional membership with ASID and with the chapter. And,
Yeah.
I feel like it's been, I think that the membership's been a positive experience for me in my business and for networking.
Definitely.
What's funny, when I first became president-elect, certain people were saying things to me like, oh, that's just going to kill your business. And I was like, what? Why would it do that? And they're like, well, because it takes up so much time and you're not going to. I actually found the opposite. I found that it was a boon to my business because I got to know so many people and I got to make connections with industry partners that, were truly partnering with my business. So,
yeah, I mean, I look at it that, you know, back in like '08 and everything, supporting myself, I dropped off my membership for a number of years, probably around 2010. And then when I started with my company 4 years ago, they're like, oh yeah, be active again. We support this. And it has totally changed, my career becoming more active again. And, I know that down the road, what's going to be a constant is ASID.
yeah.
And I've met people around the country going to, national conventions and so forth. I've found friends other places. So I think it's just something, for people just to kind of think about right now. And you can pay your dues monthly. You don't have to do a one lump sum.
There you go. That's probably
Exactly.
actually a really good tactic for a lot of people right now, since this whole thing seems to be a month-to-month question mark,
It is. It's a day-to-day question mark right now. I mean, for you with construction starting back up in Pennsylvania, has that helped? Do you think that's going to help? I know it's going to help my company, the company I work for,
Yes. As a matter of fact, I have 2 on-site meetings this week, socially distanced, of course, masks worn, but just for like a site walkthrough to check on things because they're officially allowed to be open now with a lot of, like I said, restrictions, but it gives me and the clients a chance to kind of see where are we? Let's get a fresh status update and find out what our next action points are for the project. So I'm really thankful for that. And I'm sure these, the people who are waiting for their home to be finished are really thankful for that too.
Yeah, there's definitely that. I mean, some people don't realize that some of the construction that was maintained, a lot of it was hospitals, healthcare projects.
Yes.
Those were still ongoing because and some of them were pop-up situations. So it wasn't a complete shutdown in that regard, but the 99.9% of it was. So it's nice to bring it back to feeling a little sense of normal, Like I went to Starbucks on Saturday.
You went to where?
I went to Starbucks on Saturday, drive-through, but I felt human for like 5 minutes. I'm like, I didn't care that the line was 20 minutes long and it was 20 cars deep. Fine by me,
Where is there a drive-through Starbucks? I don't even.
I'm in southern New Jersey, right across the bridge. So there were two that were open.
Nice.
And the lines were quite long, but didn't matter. Didn't matter. I got my drink. I felt good.
Like you said, you felt like there was a little bit of normalcy.
It was a little bit of normalcy, then I came home and I haven't gone anywhere since. So, being safe now, but especially for you teach as well.
Yeah.
So how is that, tell everybody where you teach, what some of the courses are and how you're doing with that social distance learning right now.
So Drexel University is where I teach. Now, currently, I'm not teaching a course. I have a thesis student. So what's required when you have a thesis student is you are to meet with them once a week. It's once a week, or you can do twice a week if you feel like there's a need. Usually there's not a need for that until they're ready to present. So what we've had to do is Zoom meetings once a week. And it's actually gone really well because she shares her screen and I can draw on it because, you know, that you have that ability. So it's been going well. It's been working for us. I was a little nervous at first because I thought, gosh, I hope like she still feels the sense of urgency, and but she's been great. I mean, it's been a really good experience. And then what we've been doing is Drexel's organized it in a way that in groups we do these group crits where we're about to do one this Friday where there'll be 5 advisors on with well, 4 or 5 advisors on with 4 or 5 students, and it'll be a Zoom call, and we'll look at each student's stuff and we'll do a group chat and a group crit, and it's been great. Now, friends of mine who are currently teaching, they're teaching the online courses, and I know it's been a challenge because it's just completely new, and you know, design school is so interactive and it's so personal
and
usually,
hands-on, a lot of it.
yeah, absolutely hands-on. So that's been a little bit of a challenge. That's what some of my colleagues are telling me that are currently teaching a class. It's taking a little bit more time for both them and the students, but it's, you know, I think it sounds like each week gets easier. So in terms of getting the kinks worked out.
Right.
So.
Do you think people are going to, you know, when we get back to what we see as our, you know, normal, you know, back in class, back at the office, do you think people are going to be a little bit more at ease if something goes technologically wrong? You know, the printer's not working.
Yes.
You know, doing this, they're going to not be like, oh, you know, you should have, I get it now. You know, there's people are going to be like, Zoom's not working. You know, we have our webinar series that we're starting with the chapter that Liz, who's our professional development director, and our SRBs are starting tomorrow. And we did a test run yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, it's getting.
I think that everybody's going to feel like they're going to have a little bit more patience, and I think that people will absolutely appreciate in-person meetings. I know I am going to have a whole new appreciation for seeing people and meeting with them. And I also think we always thought that everything virtual would be faster. It's not necessarily. No. For instance, you know, since we've had to do all our client interactions virtually, Zoom calls have been great. We've been doing them with clients. The clients have been great about it. And then we put together like a box of physical samples and things and things we want them to see, and cut sheets, and mail them off. But where I have found it's a little bit slower is that, you know, I can't get that immediate feedback on something like where things might have taken a minute to just say, for someone to say, oh, I love it, great, let's go with it. It's like, well, let me now package this all up, go to the post office, you know, mail it out, wait for you to open it and respond. Then they typically call and say, I feel like I can't decide by myself. I wish you were standing here to just walk me through it. And then the other thing is just the fact that I've had to work remotely with my staff. It's tricky because things where we could ask each other a question, just, you know, call across the room and say whatever and get a quick response. Now it's an email, and if the person isn't sitting in front of their email at that minute, you got to wait until, you know, so these are all minor things, and they're all, you know, workarounds that we can absolutely do. But I'm just making a point that I do miss the interaction with people on a one-to-one, whether it's colleagues, clients, or staff. I mean, I do miss that.
Well, I completely agree. For me, that's my job. I'm out on the road. I'm a rep now. So it's like, I'm used to being in, you know, 4 or 5 firms a day.
Yes.
And then it's like, you know, somebody will be like, oh, do you want to do this presentation, you know, and we'll do it online for you. And it's like, no, let's see each other, because I don't care what we look like, because right now it's just face to face, and hi, how are you?
Yes.
Phone call. I'm getting lots of phone calls
Yeah.
from designers because, instead of just sending an email, it's just like, hey, there's a voice on the other end. You
Yes.
know, it's nice and I welcome it. It's
Yeah.
just I go, who's this phone number? Because everybody's calling from their cell phones,
Yeah.
which
And just, the tone also, like, to use, a sort of woo-woo term like people's energy when you're in person, that, that you exude a positive energy, other people exude a positive energy. And that comes across like when you're face to face with somebody. And I think it makes a difference for the person on the receiving end to
Mhm.
feel that comfort and socialization. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, it's been fine. We've been busy. We're lucky that we have projects that have, some of our projects have been able to roll along nicely. The construction projects, they of course had to pause, but they're ramping up
Mhm.
again. So I feel very fortunate.
Well, that's good. Is there anything interesting, fun type of project you're working on right now?
Um, we we're having a lot of fun with, we are doing, well, the two houses that are being built are really interesting. It's a lot of work, and but they're both really exciting. The clients are great. It's just amazing to see these houses start to come alive now that they're putting in the molding and trim work and the flooring and the tile work. It's just so great to see it come to life. But we actually have a master bedroom project with the client. She's so lovely, and she's adventurous. So we are having a lot of fun with that because she lets us choose things that are really, um, just a little bit more fun
Mhm.
and cosmopolitan. So it's just it's that's been a lot of fun because she understands. Also, it's always great when a client like relinquishes the control to you and just is like, I trust you, let's do it. It makes the project so much more fun. So
It definitely does. Is there anything you've been doing right now to keep yourself occupied in, quarantine times?
yeah.
Me, I've been doing these little like crafty things. I got coloring books. I've colored like 2 pages.
Oh,
Things
cool.
things you do. Is there anything you've been doing that, to occupy your time
Hmm.
right now?
Well, that other than eating a lot of carbs and cutting my own hair, I would say did that last
I
night.
haven't tried that. No.
I would say I'm actually reading for pleasure right now, like on the weekends and in the evenings, instead of, usually all I do is when I do read, it's like stuff about the industry or design, and I'm actually reading for pleasure. And I had this grand plan to start painting again because I really do enjoy painting, but that has not happened yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping it does. Who knows? You know?
Exactly. It's like somebody goes, well, I'm still going to be here in a few weeks, so I'll get to it.
Yes, that's right.
That was me about 4 weeks in. Oh, I'm going to clean out my closets. And I was like, 4 weeks in, I still hadn't done it. I've done 2 out of 3, so I'm good.
Okay, well, that's pretty
Um,
good. That's
um,
impressive.
now, somebody did have a question before. Any advice you would give to students right now?
Ooh.
Especially those that are graduating in the design industry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so in terms of those graduating into the industry right now, I would not fret. First of all, as soon as things start ramping up again, um, designers are going to need um, designers. I've also heard that some of the bigger firms are still hiring. Um,
Yeah.
and there's someone who lives in my neighborhood. Her son works for Ballinger, and
Okay.
he said, they're still looking. I mean, so, and the healthcare firms are still doing really well. Um,
Mhm.
the hospitality firms have probably taken the biggest hit.
Right.
But I think that if the some things some students can do when they upon graduation is, first of all, they should start try to connect with some designers now and some firms now. And if they, and maybe they, if they can initially work part-time for someone, if that's a necessity, do it, because it will translate into a full-time job. It always does. I
It
mean,
always is.
and or if they want to say, look, I can do some freelance work for you. And here's another big thing. Students, listen up. People in all sorts of firms are looking for students who have the latest skills in rendering and three-dimensional presentation drawings.
Mhm.
That's a big deal. And in fact, I know someone who may be looking for that in the near future. So if they confirm with me that they're looking for that,
Mhm.
I will let you know, Kimberly, and you can
Okay.
post something.
Definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
because it's that's a I think that's a definite that students want to pursue, like offer they'll work hourly to
Yeah.
do these drawings and work on these programs that they have the good fortune to know right now that other people don't know. So,
No, and that's great advice. I also think in continuation of that, don't especially now, don't think just because, oh, hey, I wanted to go into hospitality design, I wanted to do this. There are other avenues like healthcare. Like you said, healthcare firms are looking. I call on a bunch of firms that do healthcare, and they've been looking for people for a while now because they were
yes,
busy before this, and they're like, well, it's in like it's 10 minutes over the bridge.
right,
It's
right,
not that like this is your opportunity now. These firms are looking, like you said, Ballinger. I call on, they post jobs on Indeed, but talk to your industry partners, talk to other designers. They might know of these jobs versus just seeing it like on Indeed or something, because
so true, so true.
it's all about those connections
It is,
that you
because
get from
you
the
can,
networking.
if somebody can say, hey, I know a student that just graduated that's looking, the firm is going to feel more comfortable bringing that person in for an interview.
Right.
The other thing is, I know an architect that works in healthcare, and you're absolutely right. All of the healthcare firms, that it's just been booming for them because so much gets built by Penn, Jefferson. So, and the other thing I'll point out is I can surely tell anyone who's going to be looking for a job in the summer and fall that even if you get a job for a firm that it isn't your dream job, you don't necessarily want to work in that field for the rest of your life. That is totally normal. When I got out of school, I worked for a firm that primarily did commercial projects, and was that my dream job? No, but it gave me great experience. I loved working with the people that I worked with. I got to know people, so I got to know reps, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
still in touch with those reps today.
Yeah.
So that it just it may not be your dream job initially, but you're still going to get something worthwhile from it. So go where the work is in times like this. It's what you want to do, because it's nothing. You are not going to be handcuffed there. Nothing's
No,
permanent.
no,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, I started at a firm that doing commercial hospitality 20 some years ago. And we're not gonna say how long ago, but it was like, and it was what I thought I wanted to do, but my career course has totally changed. There are options. There's so many
absolutely.
aspects and spectrums of our profession
So
that,
true.
you can, who thought 20 years later I would become a rep, but I
That's
am, and I
right.
love it.
See,
It's
and
like I love design, but I was getting a little burnt out. So for me, it's a way to still be active in my field that I love, but just in a different way. And
right, and it suits your personality too. That's the other thing. You have to do what suits your personality. And Wendy Broker just chimed in and said something very true. She said, great experience from anywhere is worthwhile. And that is such a true statement, because you are going to learn things and skills, even if it's how to work on a professional level with other people and colleagues and clients. So, I mean, it's undeniable.
Be a sponge. Soak it all in.
Yes.
Because guess what? 99% of what you need to do in your job, you don't learn in school. Nothing. Fabulous schools in our area, but it's all hands on.
Yeah.
It's like trial and error out in the field. So
it is, and it's you know, it's how you, it's your attitude. So much is your attitude. I mean, you know, and and a can do, again, this may sound corny, but a can do spirit and attitude. So, I mean, that all contributes to success. So
now, one last question before we let you go, so you can actually have your lunch today. Though I feel like I've been eating at different times because the sense of where are we, you know, what day is it? Is somebody did pose a question before, how can our industry partners be beneficial to our designers right now? You know, what would you like to see, you know, from them, or how they can help you in different ways?
That's such a great question. I would say, if they can, there's a couple ways. Hop on calls to answer questions. Sometimes it's just that connection of picking up the phone and calling. And I don't mean cold calling. I mean, say one of your designers emails you with a question, and the answer might have a couple of different levels to it or nuances. Just call the designer and say, hey, do you mind if I just walk you through this real quickly? I got a couple of reps do that, and it's amazing because there's two things that happen. First of all, it's more efficient. Well, there's three things. Second is there's the human connection. And third, I'm always left impressed with what knowledge the rep has about their product, because that's how they really shine. Like when they can start telling me things that there's no way I would have known about that product or that table or that, or whatever, or that light. That's so invaluable. And another thing, one of my reps, I'll give him a shout out, Michael Moscow. He dropped off. He like went to the trouble. I needed some frame samples and I wanted them fairly quickly because I wanted to get an order in for some art pieces. And sometimes the only way you can make a decision is to see something. He drove over to my house and left the samples at my front door for me. That's like customer service. I mean, there's just been, and you know, there's been other reps that have, you know, picked up the phone, called us, answered questions for us, you know, expedited things. The people at Brightlight are constantly keeping tabs on our orders for us, and if there's an issue, they quickly get us something else out. I mean, those are all the little things that industry partners you know, do, or provide little mailings. The Fabric Shield just sent us something just to say hello. And you know, I think all of those little, I call them touch points, make such a difference. Most designers remember stuff like that. So
yeah, I definitely agree. Coming from that side of it, you know, for me, I could sit there and type an email, but sometimes I feel I can articulate it more talking.
Yeah.
So a couple of times I've said, you know, I might need to send technical data, you know, safety data sheets, care and maintenance, you know, links to things, but it's been easier just to say, hey, can we talk for a few minutes? I can talk to you about it quicker and easier than me
Yes.
trying to explain it and then 5 emails going back and forth.
Oh my God.
And it worked. You know, I was
I
in the middle
know.
of a webinar yesterday and somebody called me and she's like, well, I need samples. Can I do this? Do you guys, can you still send samples out? I mean, yeah, we're sending them every day. You know, we're
Yeah.
doing, you know, at whatever we can, you know,
Yeah.
and what I find what's really great right now is a lot of our industry partners are offering CEU webinars.
That's
So,
great
you
too.
know, you're home,
Yeah.
if you got a minute, you can get all your IDCEC credit
Yes.
out of the way for the 2-year period. I think I've done it in the past 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I've gotten all
Yeah.
my credit taken care of probably, but it's just something, you know, definitely a way to,
Oh,
you know, keep in touch that way.
absolutely. And
And you learn a
provide.
little bit more about something that, you know, you might not have wanted to drive into the city
That's right.
and park
That's
and
right.
deal with the schuylkill, you know.
That's a
And
really good point. It's it is Fiber Seal just said it's so much nicer to talk, and it is.
mhm.
You know, especially, come on, everybody's probably like so deprived of social interaction.
Yeah,
You
like
might as well
this,
talk.
you know, they complain, everybody was complaining about everybody spending too much time on their phones. And now, you know, they're walking around with their phone like this, but now we are,
Yeah.
and we're going, you
Yeah.
know, there's that, you know, Zoom fatigue, you know, like do you do too
Yes.
many today? You have to be cognizant of that too.
You
You know,
do. You
I
do.
did 3 last week and then had to watch one and I was like at the end of the day I was like, oh, I'm done.
I
You
know.
know.
That
And I'm
is
like, I'm
true.
sitting here, but I'm exhausted, you know. So
There
you just have
there
to
are
be, you know.
yeah, there's totally some weeks that are Zoom overload. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's, you know, that's for each person to decide on their own. No, you
Sure.
know, like if you're not up for it, don't do it. Unless it's like something with a client, then you have
Yeah,
to. But
yeah, work related. Yeah, that so
yeah,
it was that. So well,
yeah,
awesome. Well, Maria, tell everybody your social media handles, your
yeah.
website,
Thank
you know,
you.
so they can follow you.
Thank
So
you. Yeah, it's Viola Interior Design, and that's the way it is for Instagram. It's at Viola Interior Design. My website is www.violainteriordesign.com. So, you know, Facebook, same thing. So, and I'm happy to always answer questions for people, whether it has to do with for students who have questions, whether it's other industry professionals or industry partners. I am happy to do that. I love talking with people and helping people. So
fabulous. Well, thank you, Maria, and
you are welcome.
everybody. Go check her out. Her Instagram's awesome. She's got
Thanks.
the details of the stuff she does is like I'm like ooh ah.
Oh, thank you. I
And
appreciate that.
check us out tomorrow. You can go on her Instagram or our website. There's the links to sign up for our professional webinar development webinar tomorrow,
Cool.
which is about the well exam. So
Oh,
Liz, our professional development director, is had just taken and passed the exam, so she's moderating the
oh,
panel
cool.
along with our student rep to the board, Allison Kapler, and our student rep to the board elect, that's a mouthful, Lindsay Bedford. So they're going to be on there to talk about that tomorrow. So everybody's welcome. We just need you to register and we will hope to see you tomorrow. And Maria, thank you for joining us for our Luncheon Live. And
Sure.
everybody go check her out and have a fabulous Cinco de Mayo. However you may
You too.
celebrate. Go have a margarita, everybody. We need it right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Kimberly. I
Yes,
really had a lot
thank
of
you
fun.
guys. Have a
Okay.
great day.
See you. Bye.